चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. Okay, kids, can we get started? Let me share my screen and then. Okay, do you all remember the verse that we did last time?
The 26.
We did 26. Which 26?
Chapter 2, text 26.
No, we didn't go to 26 as yet.
25?
No, not even 20.
16.
Okay, we will see what that verse is, okay?
It's 16.
It's 16? Is this the one we did last time?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Nasate vidyate.
Yeah.
Nasato vidyate bhavo. Oh, yeah, I did that.
So who knows this memorized?
I do.
Okay, whoever knows it can go.
Vidyate bhavo. Na bhavo vidyate sataham. You could say the last line.
Udbayor api drishtontas.
No, this isn't Udbayor, it's Ubhayor.
Sorry, Ubayor, yeah.
Ubayor api drishtontas tvam ananyas
Tattvadarshibhihi.
Tatvadashvabihi. Mataji, can I say it?
Yes.
Nashato vidyate bhavo na bhavo vidyate sataha Ubhayor api drishtontas tvananyos tatvadarshibihi.
Thank you so much.
Mataji, can I say it?
Okay.
Nasato vidyate bhavo na bhavo vidyate sataha ubayorapi dushtontas tvanyosattvadarshibihi.
Thank you so much. So what did we see last time? We saw last time, those who are seers of the truth, they have concluded that of the non-existent material body, there is no endurance, and of the eternal, the soul, there is no change. This is this they have concluded by studying the nature of both. So this is what we learned last time. What does this verse mean? This verse tells us that the body is changing, but the soul doesn't change. The soul is permanent. And this is what the seers of truth, those who have known the truth, they have concluded this message. And we also saw the use of two terms, impersonalist and personalist. What is impersonalist is? The impersonalist is the one who doesn't believe on the personal form of the Lord. He feels that Lord is nothing but the light. And the impersonalists, they want to merge in that light. That is the Brahman effulgence. And then we saw the term personalist. And what does personalist mean? Personalist means the person who believes in the form of the God and who believes that there is qualities in Lord. And we are all personalists because we believe there is form for the Lord and that the Lord is having a lot of qualities and that he is Sachitananda. So that is what we believe in and we are personalists. And what else did we see? We saw that there is this ignorance. And what does the ignorance mean? The ignorance is that the most important misery that we have in our life is forgetfulness of Krishna. And how can that be removed? That can be removed by re-establishment of eternal relationship with the Lord. And how is that possible? That is possible through how do we get into bhakti process? We get into this bhakti process because of the causeless mercy of the devotees. right? Everybody, they will have a story how they got into Krishna consciousness. Some people, they would have, mostly it's all due to the devotees are the ones who would have come to us and said, here, this is a process you should, because they have experienced happiness in that process. They want to share the knowledge that they have with others. And then what do? They say, here, there is a class in Bhagavad Gita, why don't you attend this class? Here we have a temple, why don't you all come and join us in the temple? Here we have a lot of people gathering together distributing prasad, why don't you join in that work? Like that, each and every devotee would have come to us in our lives to have introduced us to Krishna consciousness. Is that right, kids? Is that right? It is due to the causeless mercy of the devotees. Causeless means there is no cause, we don't even know. Because see, some people, they may take into Krishna consciousness and they may not take into Krishna consciousness. Depends on how much spiritual credit you have, right? Only people with the spiritual credit, they can get into Krishna consciousness. Not everybody has that. till they accumulate till they accumulate more and more and more spiritual sukruti, then they will be eligible to come into Krishna consciousness. Till that time they will say, oh no, I have some other work. No, I have I have to play cricket. No, I have to play basketball. No, not today because I have so much work going on. They will just procrastinate it because they don't have that much sukruti for them to proceed to Krishna consciousness. So a same devotee, he will go to one person and then he will go to another person. Another person might take into Krishna consciousness, but that person, the whom he went to first, he may not take into Krishna consciousness. So when we understand why does people don't, why do this process of bhakti is so rare? Out of 100,000 people, we may just see one person into Krishna consciousness. That is, what is the reason, kids? What is the reason I told you? Hare Krishna. Mataji, can you mute or everybody is able to talk? Hare Krishna.
Oh, they are. 1 second.
Okay. See, otherwise you raise your hands so that, I mean, at the end of the day, I want you all to understand, because I just don't want to keep talking. And then if you don't understand, there's no point.
Okay, so Mataji, you want me to mute everyone and then as they raise their hands, you want me to unmute them?
Yeah, they can raise their hands and they can say why only some people take into Krishna consciousness and why not everybody comes into Krishna consciousness. Okay, Aditya, go ahead.
Because like they need that, like those spiritual credits, like they need to be doing some sort of like worship toward Krishna to somehow get into the Krishna consciousness.
Yeah, I mean, you see, you don't need, I mean, the thing is, see, when you got introduced to Krishna consciousness, even not necessary that you would have performed some bhakti, but in your previous lives by some say you would have got introduced to bhakti, or you would have helped the devotees, or you would have done something to the devotees, because of which you would have accumulated the spiritual credit. Okay, so it not necessarily knowingly you would have done it. See, so for example, see, you would have tasted somebody's prasadam. You go to somebody's house, you don't even know that they are devotees, and you would have tasted their prasadam, and you would have praised that devotee. Say, oh, this prasadam is so tasty. Like that, if you would have praised, that gives some credit to you. The credit will come to your account because you have praised a devotee. Krishna is pleased with you, so he will give you some credit. Likewise, you would have just helped a sadhu. Unknowingly, you don't have expected any benefit out of it, but unknowingly you would have helped him and you would have got some credit right there. So like that, the sukruti keeps accumulating over a period of time, and then after that you become eligible. In the sense, after that, what happens when the seed of bhakti comes, you immediately take it up. Okay, that's what it means. Till that time, we will keep saying, no, I'm not interested. I have some other work. I have a lot of other important priorities in life. Like that, you will start procrastinating. till that till that phase where your sukriti is not available, you will keep procrastinating. Once the seed is once you have that credit, and when somebody comes to you, you will immediately accept it because of that credit. Okay. So this is what this is very important for you to understand, because only then you will be able to understand, okay, what is shraddha, what is bhajana kriya, what is anartha nivriti. So there is 9 process of devotional service we can discuss in some other class, but I just wanted to let you know that this is the base. Okay, are you all clear in this concept, kids?
Yes.
Okay, can we move on to our so then what did we see? We saw that we have to re-establish our connection with the Lord, and that is the way we can remove our ignorance. Okay, this is not the verse we will be seeing, but I want to quickly brush through this before we actually move into other verses. Okay, okay, who wants to read it?
Mataji, can I?
Okay, go ahead.
Avinashi tu tadviddi yena sarvamidam tatam vinasam avayas. Wait, vinasam avyayasyasya nakasjit kartumarhati.
Wonderful. That which pervades the entire body, you should know to be indestructible. No one is able to destroy that imperishable soul. Can you all understand, kids? We will not be able to, we will not be able to destroy this soul. The soul cannot be destroyed. That is the purport that Srila Prabhupada clarifies. We can just go through and see what does Srila Prabhupada say. So Srila Prabhupada, he says that the symptom of the soul is consciousness. Consciousness, see, the consciousness is spread all over the body, meaning one can experience the pain and pleasures of the body, right? And that is consciousness. If somebody pricks you with a pin, you are able to feel, right? You are able to feel the pain. Correct? Are you able to feel the, yeah, you're able to feel the pain. And that is because the soul is spread throughout the body. Okay, and that is the consciousness. Consciousness is the symptom of the soul, and this consciousness is spread throughout the body, and that is why one is able to experience any kind of pleasure and pain to this body. Okay, each and every body is an embodiment of an individual soul, and one cannot perceive the pains and pleasures of another body. Suppose, Neha, if I prick you, will you experience the pain or will your mom experience the pain? I'm pricking you. Who will experience the pain, Neha?
My mom.
Your mom will experience the pain when I'm going to prick you?
I mean, I will get.
So I'm having a safety pin in my hand, okay? I'm going to prick you. Who is going to experience the pain?
You.
You or your mom?
You yourself. You will get pain.
Correct. Neha will experience the pain. And what is the reason for that? It is because there is consciousness that is spread all over the body. And because of this consciousness, we are able to experience this pain and pleasure. Okay? And what is consciousness? Consciousness is nothing but it is the symptom of the soul. Okay? Like, see, for example, if you take a medicine, okay, there is this medicine tablet, right? And if you take this medicine, what happens? The medicine, it goes, see, for example, you're having pain in your hand and you take medicine with your mouth. But what happens? Your pain in your hand gets relieved. That is because the medicine is able to spread through your body and it's able to cure the disease. Likewise, consciousness, even though, consciousness that is also spread throughout the body. Okay, like how a medicine is, when you intake the medicine, it is able to go through the body and able to spread through the body. Likewise, the consciousness is also spread through the body. Okay, kids? And now Prabhupada here talks about the size of the soul. The size of the soul is 1/10,000th part of the tip of the hair. So you can imagine how much small it is. Okay. see, when the upper point of the hair is divided into 100 parts, and again each of such parts is divided into 100 parts, each such measurement is the dimension of the spiritual soul. Okay, that is very important for you to understand. And then what happens when so how is the soul purified? The soul is purified from the contamination of the 5 kinds of material air. Then the spiritual existence is exhibited. What is the life airs that Prabhupada is talking about? There are 5 kinds of airs that is there in the body. Okay, and that is prana, apana, vyana, and samana and udana. We don't have to go in detail, but once the purification happens through these 5 kinds of material airs, then Prabhupada says that we can experience the spiritual thing. Okay, and then what else? So I think this is good enough for this purport. Okay, we should understand there is a difference between the soul and the super soul. We will talk about it a little later, but I will make sure that you understand that also. Okay, who wants to read this verse? Go ahead. Yes, go ahead. Thank you so much. Mihika? Is that Mihika? Okay. So the material body of the indestructible, immeasurable, eternal living entity is sure to come to an end. Therefore, fight, O Arjuna. So what does Prabhupada says? Prabhupada says same thing here. Body is perishable by nature, and bodies, what happened? It somehow dwindles and it gets destroyed. But how about the soul? The soul is indestructible and it is also immeasurable because it is too small to be measured. And how does this verse help Arjuna to overcome lamentation and material compassion? Because the living entity cannot be killed. Arjuna, you don't have to worry. The living entity is not going to be killed. So you can definitely fight with Kauravas, because even if they die, it is only the body that dies, the soul, it never dies. That is how Krishna is convincing Arjuna to fight. Okay, because Arjuna was not ready to kill his relatives. He was feeling so bad. But Krishna says, see, you are a Kshatriya, your duty is to fight. And then for us to protect Dharma, you have to fight. And not only that, this body is very perishable. Even if it is going to get destroyed, no problem. The soul is there. It is eternally present. Okay, it is not going to die. That is the reason you have to fight Arjuna. Like that, Krishna is saying to Arjuna. Okay. And now we are going to go into our today's verse. Now you are getting an idea, right?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, so we will get to know what our verse is today. Okay, this is our verse for today. Somebody read this verse, please.
Govinda, try.
Okay, Govinda, anybody else? Like somebody who has not tried? Yes,
Kushi.
Yes,
I
Kushi.
told it.
Yes, Kushi.
नाजायते मेयते वा कदाचित् नाया भूत्वा भवितवानाय भूयः अजो नित्यः शाश्वतोऽयं पुराणो नान्यते हन्यमाने शरीरे. Thank you, Mataji.
Wonderful.
I tried.
Wonderful. Govinda, yes, go ahead. Somebody who wants to try?
Govinda, I think Govinda was going to.
न जयत्रमेते वादकादचेत् नाया भूत्वा भवित्वा वा न भूयः अजो नित्वा शाश्वतो पुराणो न हन्यते हन्यमाने शरीरे.
Wonderful.
I try now.
Keshav, yes, go ahead.
न जयते मयते वा कदाचित् नायं भूत्वा भविता वा न भूयः अजो नित्य शाश्वतो अयं पुराणो न हन्यते हन्यमाने शरीरे.
Thank you, Keshav. That was awesome. Anybody else?
Arjun, would you like to try?
Okay, can you all repeat after me? Na jayate mriyate va kadachin.
Na jayate mriyate vada kadachin.
Nayam bhutva bhavita va na bhuyah.
Nayam bhutva bhavita va na bhuyah.
Ajo nitya shashvatoyam purano.
Ajo nitya shashvatoyam purano.
Na hanyate hanyamane sharire.
Nahanyate hanyamane sariye.
Na jayate mriyate va kadachin. Is it going, am I going fast? Can you repeat or do you want me to split it even further? Okay. Na jayate mriyate va kadachin. Nayam bhutva bhavita. Yeah. Nayam bhutva bhavita va na bhuyah.
Nayam bhutva bhavita va na bhuyah.
Ajo nitya shashvatoyam purano.
Ajo nityah sasvato purano.
Na hanyate hanyamane sharire.
Nahanyate hanyamane sariye.
Okay. Can I ask some words, translation words? Mriyate. What does that mean?
Dies.
Mriyate. Dies. Correct. Kadachit.
At any time.
Correct. Ajaha. Ajaha.
Ajaha.
Unborn.
Correct. Shashvataha.
Permanent.
The oldest. The oldest. What is the oldest in Sanskrit mean?
Purana.
Anaha. Correct. Okay. Hanyate.
It's killed. It's killed. It's killed.
Hanyamane. Hanyamane.
Being killed.
Sharire.
The body.
Correct. So jayate means takes birth. Mriyate is dying. Kadachit is anytime past, present or future. Na, never. I am this. Bhutva, having come into the being. Bhavita, will come to be. Bhuyaha, or again coming to be. Ajaha, unborn. Nitya, eternal. Nitya is eternal. These are all some commonly used words, okay? And then Shashvataha is permanent. Puranaha means old. Hanyate, Hanyamane is killed and being killed. Sharire is the body.
Killed, being killed. Shari is body.
So from this, there will definitely be a question that will come in Kahoot, okay? That's why you need to memorize these Sanskrit words, all right? Okay. Okay. Can somebody read the translation, please?
Govinda, try translation.
Anybody else? Govinda is very, very active. I appreciate it. Can Jin try? Jin and Rai, Naomi?
For the soul there is neither birth nor death at any time. He has not come into being, does not come into being, and will not come into being. He is unborn, eternal, ever-existing, primeval. He is not slain when the body is slain.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. That was very nice. Okay, let's try to understand this purport and what Srila Prabhupada says here. Okay, so Srila Prabhupada says the soul is steady, but the body is temporary. Okay, why is the body temporary? Because it undergoes 6 kinds of transformations. So can you all see this line? 6 kinds of transformations. What are the 6 kinds of transformation that Srila Prabhupada is talking about? He says birth. You all know we are all born. Likewise, the birth takes place.
Youth,
Growth, sustenance, byproducts, and dwindling and death. Okay. So we all know what is birth, okay? And after that, we know what is growth. We after we are born from the womb, then we try to grow. We all grow, right? And there is some effect after that, right? And gradually what happens? The body dwindles. It becomes weak. It is not able to perform any kind of work as we used to do before. And then death takes place. Okay, so this is the cycle. There are 6 transformations. What are the 6 transformations? First is birth, then there is growth. After that time, they produce some effects, and that is sustenance. Okay, you sustain the body for some time because you live in this world.
What is growth? Then then is Satvitan?
And sustenance. Sustenance. Do you want me to write it in the chat?
Yeah. Yes, Mataji. Can you write the 6 kinds of transformations?
Yeah. Birth, growth, sustenance. Sustenance means your body is you are able to sustain in the body for some time. Sustenance. Then byproducts.
What is byproduct?
It produces some effects, right? The body is producing all some effects. We are sometimes weak, sometimes strong. There is some effect that is produced in the body all the time. Okay.
Mataji, I have a question about the soul.
Yeah, go ahead.
So the soul so when the body dies, the soul will come. So how will you get into it? What's the process of how of the body? I mean the soul coming into another body.
Yes, very, very good question. So what happens is, what happens whenever somebody dies? What happens is the body it is perishing because we all know, some bodies they can be burnt after death, and because of that the body is gone. And now what happens? The soul it has to find a suitable place for it to go. The soul carries with it the subtle body. What is the subtle body? What are the subtle body? Last class we discussed about the subtle body. What are the 3 subtle bodies?
Mind, intelligence, and false ego. Mind, intelligence.
Great job, Keshav. Wonderful. So that is mind, intelligence. What does the mind do? The mind, we all know, as I told you, thinking, feeling, and willing, right? The emotions are carried by the mind. And then what does the intelligence do? The intelligence is able to discriminate. It is able to say what is right and what is wrong. That is what intelligence does. And what is false ego? False ego is thinking that we are the body. That is false ego. And it thinks that the false ego makes us think that we are the body when in fact we are jivas. That is the soul. So what happens is after death, the subtle body goes with you. The subtle body goes with the soul. And that is why you carry over from wherever you left. Because of that, there are impressions, right? When you are able to say, for example, a person who is newly born, after say 3 or 4 months, he is able to identify different musical ragas, or he is able to play piano music within a year. How is that possible? That is because of the subtle body. The subtle body has certain things that is kept in the mind. And because of that, you are able to pick up from wherever you left. And similar way, if you are in the process of bhakti, and if you are continuing it throughout your life, and if you are not able to perfect your life, what happens? You will be able to pick it up from wherever you left. That is what Srila Prabhupada says. Srila Prabhupada, he says that you will be able to pick up from wherever you left bhakti process. If you are not able to perfect, don't worry, nothing will go waste. But of course, if you have earned money and if you have like $1 million, will that come to you in your next life?
No.
No, material things, they are not going to come to you. That is why Srila Prabhupada wants you to focus on bhakti, because even if you are not able to perfect, from wherever you left, you will be able to pick up that bhakti process in your next birth. And why is that so? How is that possible? It is possible because we have the subtle body coming with us through with the soul. It's subtle body. What does subtle body mean? Again, very important, kids, for you to understand. What is subtle body?
Mind, intelligence, and false ego.
Okay, what is the purpose of the mind?
Thinking, emotions, and
Correct. Thinking, feeling, and willing. It carries the emotions. Whatever emotions that are stored in the body is there in the mind. And then, what is the function of the false ego?
It thinks that we're the body.
Correct. It thinks that we are the body. And what is the function of the soul? Sorry, what is the function of the intelligence?
It makes us understand what is right and wrong. Yeah, what is right and wrong?
Discrimination. Correct. Discrimination and determination comes from intelligence. So this is very important concept. Who asked that question? Whoever, somebody asked that question, right? Who was the person who asked the question?
Me.
Oh, Keshav? Did
No,
Keshav?
I didn't ask it.
Who asked the question? Neha. Did it answer your question, Neha?
Yeah, but how does it go to a new body, the soul?
Yes.
Like the
So,
soul.
yeah, the soul is there, right? Now there is soul, and now there is the subtle body that goes with the soul. Depending on your desires, you get a new body. Whatever desires you have, because there is subtle body, everything is there, and the soul is the one which desires. And now, depending on whatever desires and karma you have, you are going to get a new body. For example, if you have more of ignorance, and if you want to enjoy, if you want to, so you will be given such a kind of body to enjoy. If you have lot of animalistic tendencies, eat other animals, you will be born as an animal. If you are the soul, and the subtle body will go to that animal body. Okay, this is what happens. Depending on the desires and the karma that you have accrued over the period of time, you are going to get an appropriate body. It could be a human body, it could be a animal body, it could be a bird body. We don't know. It all depends on the desires and the karma. Both of them influence. Actually, last time I mentioned that it's just the desires, but it's both. Actually, the karma and the desires are responsible for you to get a new body.
Okay, so will the soul go into like a baby, like a bird baby or
Correct.
anything
Correct.
like that?
Correct. Whenever the soul enters a new body, it has to start from the process of birth. From birth, from the womb of mother's body, you grow slowly.
Okay, so like the soul will enter the mother's womb.
Correct. The soul will enter the mother's womb. It will grow in the mother's womb for some time. After that, whenever it is ready, it will come out. It will start growing. It will start producing some effects. And then there will be dwindling and death. There are 6 transformations that happens. Okay. What are the 2 kinds of soul that Srila Prabhupada says? There are 2 kinds of souls. One is the jiva, that is the soul, which is very small. That is, we saw the measurement of the soul. What was the measurement of the soul? Anybody remember from previous verse we saw?
If you take one tip of a hair and cut it 10,000 times, that's how small the soul is.
Wonderful. Keshav, you're doing an excellent job of listening, and Gobinda, you are active as well. What about others? Why are you not talking? Kids, we have to make sure to interact in the class, and then we have to make sure we understand what we did in the class. And for that, you have to be communicative. If Mataji is just talking, then there is no use, right? We want it to be interactive. We want you to ask questions like how Neka did, so that you understand the concept, right? And then we can discuss through it. We can make sure that everybody understands it. Is that okay, kids? Can we do that? Can we make it interactive?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, good job. Okay. Everybody understood this process, how soul, Neha, did you understand did I give you an answer for your question?
Yes, Mataji, thank you.
Very good question, Neha. Good job. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. And now, so there are two kinds of soul. One is the one is the jiva, that is the soul, that is us. That is, what is the size of the soul? 1/10,000th of the tip of the hair is the size of the soul. And another is called super soul. Okay, the super soul, and it is called Vibhu. Anu means jiva, that is infinitesimally small, and Vibhu is infinite, which is super soul. Okay, are you all with me?
How small is the super soul again?
The super soul is the smallest of the smallest. It is really, really small because it is.
And the soul, Mataji, is 10,000 parts of your hair?
1/10,000th of the tip of the hair.
1/10,000.
1/10,000th of the tip of the hair.
What about the super soul is the smallest soul?
Yes, smaller than the smallest. Yes. Krishna, he is the smaller. He can become smaller than the smallest, and he can become greater than the greatest. That is what Krishna is. He is capable of that.
Can Krishna become smaller than the soul?
Smaller than the smallest. Yes, he is.
Oh.
Yes. Okay. Okay. So what is the relationship between Krishna and Arjuna? Krishna, he is the super soul, and Arjuna, he is the atomic soul or the jiva. And he is, who is forgetful of his real nature? Arjuna or Krishna?
Arjuna.
Arjuna. Therefore, Arjuna needs enlightenment, meaning he needs to get the knowledge, right? And Krishna is here giving knowledge to Arjuna, saying that here body is temporary, it is perishable, it's going to dwindle. There are 6 transformations that are happening within the body, and the soul here is steady and kutastha. That is what study. It is steady. It is not going to be destroyed. It is not going to deteriorate. There is no transformation that happens in the soul. There is no change that is happening in the soul. Don't worry, Arjuna. You can fight with the Kauravas, and you can, even if they die, there is no problem because the soul never dies. Okay. Who can understand the glories of the soul? Only those who are free from material desires and lamentation. By the grace of the Supreme Lord, they can understand the soul. And what else Srila Prabhupada says? So these are the things Srila Prabhupada says, very important things. Okay. See, both the soul and the super soul are situated on the same tree of the body within the same heart of the living being, and only one has become free from material desires as well as lamentations. By the grace of the Supreme Lord, they can understand the glories of the soul. Krishna, he is the fountainhead of the super soul, and Arjuna, he is the atomic soul, and he is forgetful of his real nature. Therefore, he requires to be enlightened by Krishna, who is this bona fide spiritual representative. So there are 2 kinds of soul. One is the minute particle soul, and then there is super soul. Okay, who wants to read this one? Let's read this paragraph.
Can I try?
Yes, go ahead. I think, yeah, go ahead.
Soul is full of knowledge, or full always with consciousness. Therefore, consciousness is a symptom of the soul. Even if one does not find the soul within the heart where he is situated, one can still understand the presence of the soul simply by the presence of consciousness. Sometimes we do not find the sun in the sky owing to the clouds, or for some other reason, but the light of the sun is always there. And we are convinced that therefore, daytime, as soon as there is a little light in the sky early in the morning, we can understand that the sun is in the sky.
Okay, can you complete this also?
Can I, Mataji?
Govinda?
Yeah, go. Somebody who has not read can, I don't know.
I never read it.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Since there's some consciousness in
So, Neha,
our bodies, whether man or animal,
Neha, your voice is breaking, dear.
Voice is cracking, Neha.
Neha, Can we have someone else read, because your internet is having some
Arjun.
Can you
Arjun,
hear
yes.
me now? Okay.
Can Arjun do?
No.
Yeah, go ahead.
Similarly, since there is some consciousness is in all bodies, is whether man or animal, we can understand the presence of the soul. This consciousness is knowledge, past, present, and future. The consciousness is the individual soul is prone to be forgetful. When he is forgetful of his real nature, he obtains education and enlightenment from the superior lesson of Krishna. But Krishna is not like the forgetful soul. So if Krishna's teaching of Bhagavad Gita would be useful.
Useless.
Useless.
Very good. Thank you, Arjun. Yes, yes. So we will understand. So as I told you, the consciousness is the symptom of the soul. Like how the medicine spread through the body, we have the consciousness throughout the body. Wherever there is a, see, for example, somebody is drilling a hole into your nail, you can feel it. Oh my God, it's paining. And somebody is doing tickling you, then you are able to feel that emotion, happiness. That's all because of consciousness. Once the soul leaves the body, then we are dead. There is nothing. We don't have any consciousness in us, and that is what it means. And every body, whether it is an animal body or a human body, everything, there is a soul. And because of the soul only, we are able to operate. And when the soul dies, the living entity dies. And Krishna, he is the one who is able to remember the past, present, and the future. The only person who can remember everything about everybody is Krishna. And we, as human beings, we are even forgetful of Krishna. We turned away from Krishna, and that is why we are in this material world. We turned away, meaning we wanted to independently enjoy from Krishna. We said, oh, we are the enjoyers, we are the proprietors, we want to enjoy away from Krishna. And Krishna, he fulfilled our desire by saying, okay, you go to this material world and I'm going to condition you, make you forgetful of me, and that way you will be able to independently enjoy. And how does one revive his forgetfulness? He revives his forgetfulness by the teachings of Bhagavad Gita. That is why Krishna is instructing Arjuna, and he's saying, here in this through this Bhagavad Gita, you will be able to understand the transcendental knowledge, and you will be able to understand me, Arjuna. I'm going to now, Krishna, he already accepted Arjuna as his disciple, because Arjuna, remember, there was one verse where Arjuna said, oh, I don't want you to treat you as a friend anymore. I want you to be my spiritual master. I want you to teach me, because only when you have a spiritual master, the knowledge comes to you. When you are treating somebody as a friend, you may listen or may not listen to him. But when you have a spiritual master, you are bound to abide by his instructions, right? And that is what is happening with uh, Arjuna. He is being enlightened by Krishna. Okay? All right, kids. So do you all understand this verse?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. So let's go through some from the PowerPoint and then make Srila Prabhupada's thing, and then we'll understand it further. At 9:30 PST, I will help you to, we can do Kahoot after that. Is that okay?
Yes,
Okay.
Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, great. Okay, I just pause the screen 1 second. Okay, let me, okay, I need, I don't know if this is, okay. Okay, I have to send this PowerPoint to my email. 1 second, kids. I'm just mailing it to you so that, sorry, I'm just mailing it to myself so that I'm able to share. I'm using 2 different computers here, and hence the confusion. Okay. kids, any questions so far? Are you good?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Okay, very good. Very important. You understand everything. Okay.
Okay, Mataji.
Mataji, is there Kahoot?
Yes, we have Kahoot, Aditya.
Okay.
Yes, the Kahoot will test your knowledge on everything. Okay. Whatever you learned previously also, there could be some questions. So make sure to make some notes. I told you, right? Small notes will definitely help you. Is anybody doing that?
Yes, Mataji, I do.
Who's that? Neha? Oh,
Yes.
wow. Wow, that's awesome. Okay.
Notes on the, I take notes on the Srimad Bhagavatam.
Also, wow, wonderful. That's awesome.
Got
Oh, okay, okay. All right. Let's just see what some more things. Okay. As we all know, the soul cannot be killed. Na hanyate hanyamane sharire, and the soul has no birth or death. As Krishna is eternal, Krishna has no birth and death. And then he is called Ajopisan Avyayatma. Krishna says in the 4th chapter. Aja is Krishna's another name. And all Vishnu Tattvas, they are Ajas. We are also Ajas, meaning we Jivas, we are also Ajas. And what does Aja mean? Aja means one who doesn't take birth. So both Krishna or the God and the living entities, they are all eternal. Okay. And we all know Krishna is eternal. That is why he is unborn. He is never born. He is coming into this material world. He is appearing in this material world, but he is not born. He's always eternal. He is always there. The only difference between us, is that we are covered by material energy and we become we become Chuta, meaning fallen down. But Krishna is Achyuta. He never falls down. That is the difference. Where do we fall down from? Where the living entities, we all fall down because at one point we would have been with Krishna and we turned away from Krishna, and that is the reason we are here, right? And that is what the fall down is. The fall down happens when you turn away from Krishna. And Krishna, he never falls down. He's Achyuta and we are Achyuta. That is the difference. That do you all understand? And we are covered by
Mataji?
Yes.
So Krishna is Achyuta and we are Chita?
Yes, we fall down. Okay. Whenever we turn away from Krishna, it is equal to us falling down. Okay. And whenever we are turning towards Krishna, that means we have not fallen down. We should always remember Krishna. That is the goal. And Krishna, he is called Achyuta. He never falls down. And Aja, we all know, what does Aja mean? One who is never born. The Vishnu Tattvas, Krishna, they're all called Aja because they are eternal. Okay? Is that understandable, guys?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. So just like a cloud can cover the portion of the sunlight. Not that the cloud can cover all the sunlight. That is not possible. Suppose now the sky is covered with cloud, maybe 100 miles, 200 miles, or 500 miles. But what is 500 miles in comparison to the sun? Millions and trillions of miles. The cloud covers our eyes and not the sun. Similarly, Maya can cover the eyes of the living entity. Maya does not cover the Supreme Person. Srila Prabhupada wants to convey the fact that as living entities, we are covered by the material modes, right? What are the material modes? Can somebody say?
Goodness, passion, ignorance.
Wonderful job, Neha. Because of your writing notes, you are able to see, focus, and able to say that. Yes, goodness, passion, and ignorance. Living entity, he is covered by the modes. He is covered by material modes. But whereas Krishna, is he covered by the modes?
No.
Let me concentrate.
He is not.
But Mataji, I cannot see the screen.
Oh, really? So sorry.
Radhika, Mataji is
Yes.
sharing screen.
Yes, can you see it?
No, yes.
Yes, Mataji.
So sorry. I didn't know that I was sharing the screen. I was not sharing the screen. Thank you, Gobind. Okay, can you okay, can you all understand this concept that we are covered by the modes, but Krishna, is he covered by the modes? Is he
No.
covered by the material?
No.
Why? Why is he
When
not
he
covered?
and
Because
Because he is in the
spiritual
world. Lord Krishna is spiritual and we are material. That's why.
We are material, that's why.
yeah,
Why should we be covered by the
when
modes? Why should we be covered by the modes?
because we
Because we're
are
in the
from
birth and death cycle. Yeah, we're in
Yes.
birth and death cycle.
Okay, why? I mean, for that reason, we should be covered by the modes. So what happens is
We
it.
fall down and Krishna doesn't fall down.
Correct. That's a good point. So what happens is, why are we covered by the modes? That will be the question, right? And then Krishna is saying, see, you are turning away from me. You don't want me. You say I want to be independent enjoyer and proprietor. And how is that possible? That is possible only if I cover you with the modes. Only if I put you in this conditioning, you will be able to forget me. And that is why I am covering you up. Okay. This is the reason why Krishna is covering us. Okay, are you clear with this? And how will that covering go away? How will it go away? When you involve yourself more and
More in devotional service and chant.
good job. Yes, when you are involving yourself in devotional service, then you will no longer be affected by the modes. What will you do? You will do things that are favorable to Krishna, and you will not do things that are not favorable for Krishna. And that is what coming out of the modes means. When you are transcending the modes, you will just do whatever that is pleasing to Krishna. Anything that pleases Krishna, you will do that. Anything that is not pleasing to Krishna, you will not do that. That is what Srila Prabhupada here says. Okay. Are you all with me, kids? Do you understand why we are covered by the modes? Anybody
Yes,
can anybody say? Jin, can you explain me what is the reason why we are covered by the modes? Jin?
Because we have the birth and death cycle.
Arjun, I just said the answer.
I know can I say
Neha,
Then Govinda.
okay. Jin, did you want to try?
not this second.
Okay, no problem. Okay, Neha, go ahead.
Because when we perform devotional service to Lord Krishna, we will not get not get affected. But if we don't perform devotional service to Lord Krishna, we will get affected by the three modes of material nature.
Correct. So the material nature, we are conditioned because we are turning away from Krishna. Krishna is put us into this conditioning and covered us with the three modes because we wanted to enjoy separately from Krishna. But when we are into the devotional service, we are turning towards Krishna and slowly the modes will go away. Okay. When you get involved in the process of devotional service, because what is the reason? You are turning towards Krishna. You want Krishna. You want him to be the enjoyer and you don't want yourself to be the enjoyer. And when that happens, you are going slowly towards Krishna and slowly the modes will also go away from you. And then you are able to see everything for the pleasure, do everything for the pleasure of Krishna. This is what is the essence. So this is called birth and death, and covering of Maya is the margin. Okay. Krishna has got many potencies, many energies. Okay, and this is okay. We will talk about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was requested by one of the devotee of Lord Chaitanya that, my dear Lord, you have come. You kindly take away all these conditioning souls, and if you think that they are horribly sinful, they cannot be delivered, then you transfer all the sins upon me. I shall suffer. You better take them away. This is Vaishnava philosophy. So we see that one of the devotees requesting Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to say that please deliver everybody. And if they are having sinful tendencies because of which they cannot be delivered, then what do, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? You transfer all that sins to me so they can at least go back to Godhead. And this is what a Vaishnava thinks. He is ready to accept anything for the sake of other Vaishnavas. For them to go back to Godhead, this Vaishnava, he is ready to sacrifice even his life. Can you all see the mood, kids? How this Vaishnava is trying to, he's para dukkha dukhi. When he sees some other Vaishnava unhappy, he becomes personally unhappy. And that is the reason he is called para dukkha dukhi. But are you like that? We have to think ourselves. When we come to that platform of putting ourselves being unhappy when others are unhappy, then you are developing the Vaishnava quality. Are you with me? Did you understand that concept? When you are able to see, for example, when your parents are in a very big trouble, and when you are able to relate to their trouble, and when you are able to be compassionate to them, to understand what is the reason for the trouble and provide them soothing words, then you are on the platform of Paradukka Dukhi. Like that, if you compare that as an analogy, what does the Vaishnavas do? The Vaishnavas, they look at the people who are suffering in this material world, full of unhappiness. They become unhappy seeing the sufferings of them, and they want them to be delivered. Even if they stay in this material world, it is perfectly fine according to them, but they want others to be delivered. And this is the Vaishnava quality that Srila Prabhupada wants in us. He says a Vaishnava is para dukkha dukhi. When he sees others who are troubled, then he becomes troubled himself. Therefore, the Vasudeva Gosha, he requested Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that you deliver all these unhappy conditioned souls. And if you think they are sinful, they cannot be delivered, then transfer all the sins upon me. I shall suffer and you take them away. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what happened after Vasudeva Gosha said this? He became very pleased by his proposition and he smiled. He said that this Brahmana, this universe is only just like a mustard grain in the bag of mustard seeds. Our point is that just like there are so many universes, just compare. You take a big bag of mustard seeds and pick up one grain. In comparison to the pack of mustard grains, what is the value of one grain? What is Srila Prabhupada trying to say through this is, there are so many millions of universes. And in the millions of universes, Earth is one such planet. Earth is one of the planets from millions of universes. And we are just a small, significant spark in that planet. So how insignificant we are is what he's trying to say. Okay, we are so insignificant, but we think, oh, we are the enjoyers, we are the proprietors, we should do this, we should, but we are not qualified for that. We are really insignificant, and that is why we should develop the mood of dasanu dasanu das. What does that mean? Servant of the servant of the servant. We should develop that mood and always be humble. If you are not respectful to your parents, what does that mean? It shows your humility. Are you humble? Are you humble if you are very arrogant? If you are very raising your voice with your parents?
No, you shout. No.
Does that show your humility?
No.
What does that mean? It shows you are arrogant, right? And
yes,
what is the
mad? You're mad.
Correct. You are mad and you are ruining your life, because our parents, they do everything for our good. Even if they are wrong, sometimes you just have to go with them, give respect to them. Till you are independent, you just have to go with it and be an humble servant to them. That should be the mood. And when we develop that quality, Krishna likes it very much. What pleases Krishna? When you are humble, even in provoking situations, that pleases Krishna. When you are unhappy, seeing others unhappy, and when you want to show compassion to them, that pleases Krishna. When you want to follow the orders of Krishna, that pleases Krishna. So these are the things that we want to do to please Krishna. Are you okay? Are you with me, kids?
Yes,
if you are pleasing your parents, it pleases Krishna. If you are pleasing the devotees, it pleases Krishna. If you are pleasing and being compassionate to others who don't have this knowledge of transcendental science, then you are pleasing Krishna. See, some people, they may have a talent to sing. They can sing beautiful bhajans. And because of the bhajans, some people can inspire and come into Krishna consciousness. They will say, oh, wow, such a beautiful singing. He's learned this from Krishna consciousness. So I am really attracted to this bhajan. And I want to also join Krishna consciousness. So you are indirectly helping people come into Krishna consciousness through your skills. So we should do, that's why your parents might say, can you sing? Can you do this? Can you do this service? Can you do that service? Can you wash the plates of Maharaj? Can you wash the plates of devotees? When you do all this, you are trying to get the mood of being the servant of the servant of the servant. And you're trying to please Krishna. This is the essence. Okay, kids?
Okay, Mataji.
I think we didn't go. I had so many slides prepared, but we don't have much time. So what I'll do is I'll do this Kahoot game with you now. Is that okay, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji, sure.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. So we will get started with the kids. I mean, we'll just start with the Kahoot game. I want to make sure that we remember it through at least writing, because we will remember, oh, okay, this is what Mataji thought last time. This is what she did last time. This way we will remember, and please try to make a habit of keeping some notes, and that way we will progress in Krishna consciousness, and these notes will be of good help to you at later point too. Okay, with this we will adjourn for today. We will call it a day and have a wonderful weekend and happy Krishna conscious week. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyev cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrind ki jai, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. And thank you, Madhavi Mataji. Thank you, Madhavi Mataji, for your wonderful service. I appreciate it. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you very much. So let's thank Mataji. Let's say Hari Bol to Mataji, everyone. Thanks. Let's thank her.
Hare Krishna.